Hi everyone, this is Adrian.
And I'm Carrie.
And for this episode of the Scent Library, we are going to talk about Bleu de Chanel and other blue fragrances.
Yep.
What we call blue, which is...
Up for debate.
Okay. So...
Okay, so Bleu de Chanel was a line that was started in 2010. Chanel probably took the name Blue and ran with it because there was a kind of a growing categorization of men's fragrances in the 80s that grew along with time and stuff, calling blue fragrances these fresh sort of like natural smelling aldehyde emphasis, clean, maybe shower gel vibe types
shower
of
gel
fragrances, calling them blue fragrances. But it began to sort of solidify into a real fragrance genre in the 2000s or so. So Bleu de Chanel came out, and whether they grabbed that name to sort of go with, the wave, or because they really felt like this smelled blue, it's hard to say. I don't think that they smell particularly aquatic.
No.
And I'm not really sure, other than that shower gels are sometimes blue, that why they would be, why you would think that shower gels are blue.
Well, they usually come out in the blue color, the shower gels.
Yeah, but I guess, just because blue kind of reminds you of like, the sky and it's clean and stuff. So they went with that. So in 2010, the first of the Bleu de Chanels came out, the Eau de Toilette. And you notice it doesn't say anything on the bottom as far as Eau de Toilette, because this was the only blue at the time, de Chanel, and it was the Eau de Toilette. Later on, 4 years later, in 2014, they came out with the Eau de Parfum, and then in 2018, they came out with the Parfum version.
So 2014 was the Eau de Parfum, and then 2018 was the Parfum.
The Parfum. So 2010, 2014, 2018, every 4 years. So the Eau de Toilette was super popular, and it probably really cemented in the name of the genre, like blue fragrances, because everybody then started thinking that it was because Bleu de Chanel sort of set the trend.
And it's in a blue bottle.
Maybe they did. I mean,
It seems very purposeful.
Yeah. It definitely seems like there was some thought behind it. The main notes that I get out of this when I smell it, there's a lot of others I'm not going to mention right now, but you can look them up, are top notes of grapefruit, mint, and then middle notes ginger, jasmine, base notes incense, and sandalwood. Those are the things that I get without really having to work too hard to notice them. And those really project well in the Eau de Toilette. So I would say the Eau de Toilette is one I would definitely use more in like warm weather sort of situations, because it projects.
And when you want to get noticed?
Yeah, if you want to go out to clubs and different things like that, this is one that projects and people notice you and stuff. It definitely gets some attention and gets compliments.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the Eau de Parfum. Okay, in 2014, the Eau de Parfum came out. This one definitely has a more of a sweeter profile, a little bit softer, but a thicker smell to it. If you want to kind of compare the difference between this.
It is definitely sweeter. Yeah.
Now, one thing I definitely would emphasize is smelling these on paper versus smelling them on skin is really fairly different. The warmth of your skin helps to really bring out the notes in a way that you don't get on paper. So if you are at a store and testing them, I would really suggest you put some on your skin, go walk around for a while, give it 30 minutes or so before you really start, trying to decide which ones you like and stuff. because it takes a little while for the scent profile to really develop, you know, from the warmth of your skin.
And the Eau de Parfum hangs closer to your body.
Yeah, it does. It hangs a little closer. It doesn't project as much, is what I'd say. This one is, I think, the most versatile of them. It really works great for like offices, an office type scent or something. When you're using it for maybe going out to, formal occasions or something, it doesn't super project, but it has a nice scent bubble. It's a very, very nice, versatile one of the line.
Okay.
Okay, and then moving on to the most recent one, of course, if they've got an Eau de Toilette and an Eau de Parfum, then you have to have the Parfum version. This one definitely hangs a lot closer to your skin. It leaves a nice scent trail, but the actual noticeability of it is more like when you're within sort of like an embrace distance, So definitely kind of a date fragrance or something that you kind of wear for yourself. I like this one because I can put it on clothing and it leaves a nice sort of a scent trail, but when somebody's standing right around you, they aren't necessarily getting choked out.
Yeah.
That being said, the difference between this one and the Eau de Parfum one is it doesn't project quite as much. This one is definitely more of a cool weather scent. I would use this more in the colder parts of the year, whereas the Eau de Parfum I would use pretty much any time, although it can get to be a little much during the summertime and a lot of heat. And the Eau de Toilette I would use in warmer times, or just pile a whole lot on if it's cooler part of the year, but you're using it and that's what you have, just spray
And
more
this
on.
one is different because it has pineapple in it.
Yeah, so going back to the Eau de Parfum, it has the most noticeable notes are grapefruit, mint, and bergamot, ginger, melon. It has a nice sweetness from the melon, and then it has incense, sandalwood, and amberwood in the base. So it has a lot of sweet and resinous and smokiness to it. And then
The Parfum
version has lemon zest, bergamot, and mint, and then you get pineapple, which is really nice, and green notes, sandalwood, cedar, and tonka bean. So definitely a sweeter profile there. You lose the incense notes and stuff, so it's not as smoky. But you get some nice woody effects from amberwood, sandalwood, and isoe super, which is a kind of a aroma chemical wood, sort of a chemical. So here is the Parfum version.
Yeah, you could definitely smell the pineapple. Yes.
And maybe they threw that in there because of Aventus. Maybe not. I mean, Aventus had already been around for quite a while, and I don't think that Chanel was trying to compete with them. I think it may just have gone well in the profile, and they needed something with a little bit more of a tartness, but also sweet, if they were going to change the melon note.
Yes.
But all three of these are great. I don't think you need to buy all three of them. I did more or less because I kind of wanted to sample all of them and have them to wear for different occasions. But the one that I would use the most, if I could only keep one bottle, I would keep the Parfum.
Oh, you would keep the Parfum.
Yeah, I really like the Parfum most because it does hang kind of close. It doesn't, it's not something that other people are going to be choked out by or something if I wear it. And let's say it gets, it's kind of a warm situation. It's not going to project like the Eau de Toilette or the Parfum. But if I had to, for most people, say which one would you get, if you sort of liked all three and couldn't decide, I would go with the Eau de Parfum because it's really the most versatile. It gives you some of the projection and the complement factor of the Eau de Toilette while also letting it be a little bit more kind of not as loud and stuff in all situations and stuff as the Eau de Toilette. So
Okay.
yeah, there's no need to buy all three.
No need to buy all three, but you can get the Eau de Parfum as the most versatile one.
Exactly. So moving on now to something else that I want to talk about is alternatives. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Sauvage Eau de Toilette. Now, I know a lot of people just roll their eyes, and that's fine. You do that. I love this one. I remember the first time I smelled it, And every time I smell it, it takes me back to that time. Somebody walked into the room wearing this, somebody I know, and I was just like, what is that? It smells so good. And I went up to the guy and I asked him, what cologne are you wearing? It smells so amazing. And he told me, and I immediately got online and ordered a bottle.
Oh,
And
okay.
loved it ever since. I don't wear it all the time because it's one that I really like to smell on other people.
I see.
But I don't necessarily like to wear it because I tend to gravitate towards certain other fragrances that I like to wear. But I do love this one. So if I was going to suggest for someone, you smell the Bleu de Chanel Eau de Toilette, and you're like, yeah, I'm not so sure about that. This would be what I would tell you to try as kind of instead of that. If you want a clubbing type of a fragrance, something that gets you noticed, gets you some compliments and stuff, and it's good in most situations. I like it. A lot of people that are sort of the fragrance snobs and stuff, they won't like it just because
It's so popular.
It's so popular.
It's so popular. Everyone wears it.
Yeah, so what can you say? I mean, if popularity then starts getting you thumbs down in the snob section, oh well, what can you do? But even though, I have all kinds of fragrances and, know a lot about fragrances, at least I think I do, I still love it, and I think you can't go wrong with something like this. So if you're looking at the Chanel Blue line and you're like, it's not really quite for me, but there's something I like about it, try Sauvage if you definitely want something that's kind of in the get you noticed category.
And this is the Eau de Toilette version.
Eau de Toilette version. There are several different versions of Sauvage out there, so make sure you know which one you're getting into, although they're all good. Next one. This is truly one of my favorite fragrances in the so-called blue line. YSL Y Eau de Parfum.
And this one you would use if you don't want the Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum.
Right. This one is super versatile. It has a great scent profile, and some of the notes in it are similar to the Chanel Blue line, but it has some definite things that are unique to it. And
like the apple.
Apple.
Yes. The apple fragrance is so good.
Right. So this one launched in 2018. And it has notes of apple, ginger, bergamot, sage, geranium, tonka bean, and olibanum.
Okay.
So a lot of notes there, way more than that. I didn't mention all of them, but those are the ones I think that are the most noticeable and the ones you can kind of pick out if you know those notes. This one is great in warm weather. It can get a little bit much if it's really hot outside, but it is, like I said, it's versatile. You can wear it in warm weather. You can spray it a little bit heavier, and it's great for cooler weather and stuff. It leaves a nice scent trail. Depending on how heavy you spray it, it can either hang like kind of an arm's length of scent bubble, or if you spray a little bit heavier, for the first 4 to 6 hours, maybe you can get, 4-foot sort of a scent bubble if you really must. And I don't know that people ought to do that necessarily, but it depends. You do you. Okay, now coming up to the next one. This one's one that not too many people are going to know. This is Turathi Blue.
And I like it for its spiciness.
Yeah, this one, the notes aren't really well specified. They're kind of a little ambiguous if you look them up. The notes are citruses, and yes, it does have very citrusy notes to it. And middle notes, woodsy notes. So you've got some citrus and some wood. They do actually specify amber. I guess they didn't want to go amber-y notes. And then there's musk, patchouli, and spices.
Doesn't specify which one.
Nope.
But it's very spicy.
So you basically got things that are in most things, which are like citruses, woods, spices. And patchouli seems to be in everything too. But as much fun as I like to make of how they put the notes there and stuff, one thing I have to say is this is really kind of an amazing fragrance.
Yes, it is.
You have to look around to find it. A lot of times it's more you can find it on discounters and stuff like Fragrance Net or Fragrance by Canada. But if you get a bottle of this, you're pretty well set. It's got a really great scent profile. It projects well. It's a kind of a fun fragrance. It turns some heads and gets some good compliments. There's nothing about this not to like, and especially the price.
Yes.
The price is
very affordable.
You could probably get 3 bottles of this for what you can get 1 bottle of Bleu de Chanel. So really nice alternative. And then I don't usually like to do this, but I don't like to show things that I don't have full bottles of, but I have a full purse size spray of this that I got because they were out of this particular one when I went to go looking for it. This is Ralph Lauren Polo Bleu Parfum. And this one I like almost as much, maybe more, than the Bleu de Chanel Parfum. And what I love about it is the mandarin orange sort of a smell to the top notes.
Okay. Oh.
It has mandarin orange, cardamom, clary sage, lavender, jasmine, and olivanum, and of course patchouli, because everything has to have patchouli. But this one is a really, really nice one. And if you are familiar with the Ralph Lauren line, the Polo line, yeah, some people go, ugh, it's kind of worn out. And in some ways, you know, it's seen more exciting days. But this one is a really nice new edition that they've brought out in, I think, just 2022. Yeah, I think it just came out last year. And I've been meaning to get a big bottle of it, and I keep forgetting it until I started thinking along these lines. And I really like it, and I noticed that it competes pretty well with the Bleu de Chanel Parfum line as far as, you know, the characteristics and how it lasts and the scent trail and stuff. So that's a good alternative, and it's a lot less pricey, and you can actually get it from discounters, whereas you can't on the Chanel. One thing I would say about Chanel, if you're buying it, don't buy it from any place other than Chanel.
Okay.
Chanel doesn't market through discounters, and so if you're finding something online, it may be old, or it may, depending on your sources, it's probably fake. There's certain ways that you can immediately spot some fakes with the Chanels, but there are really some good fakes out there, and a lot of people think that, you know, some of the bottles and things even are sourced from the same bottle maker that supplies Chanel, so you can't tell it from the box or the bottle because they're really from the same place where the real ones come from, but the stuff inside isn't real. And you can notice it after a little bit that they probably just water down some of the real stuff with basically alcohol, so you're just getting a super diluted 10% of the real thing, and it smells like it for a few minutes and then goes away.
Okay.
So get your Chanel from Chanel.
Okay, so we're done.
Okay, so if you're looking into the Bleu de Chanel line, hopefully this was helpful in what you might like to pick out. For most people, I think it's going to be the Eau de Parfum. And if you need an alternative to the Bleu de Chanel Eau de Toilette, go with Sauvage Eau de Toilette.
Yes, and there's Turathi Blue, which you could get many of.
That's right, for less expensive and have money left over for other things.
Okay, thanks for watching this episode.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
bye.